Hey guys, can you hear me? Testing, 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me?
Repeat yourself. What'd you say?
Can you hear me? Okay.
Say it again.
I take it you can? So sometimes I sound like a chipmunk. I haven't quite figured out what causes that, but I have to make sure that's not happening.
You gotta put a quarter in the slot.
Well, too bad we're not really at Danville tonight. This would have been an okay night.
Yeah. But stupid COVID-19.
Yeah, you know, I guess we could have done social distancing, but I'm not sure they're even really open. I mean, they might really not want you to be there. I don't know.
We would probably be asked to leave if a ranger came in. So it's not even worth the hassle of going out there just to be told to leave.
That's true. So how are you dealing with this quarantine? I'm hating it. Absolutely hating it.
Oh, I get out at least twice a week. I gotta run into the office, pick up crap, come home, sit outside, read. Today I in the garage and played with my solar scope.
Well, that's more real astronomy than I've been doing.
Hey, the sun's dead.
Oh, is it? There was. What about your PST?
Oh, it works fine. The sun's dead.
Oh, oh, wow. So I'm certainly not missing anything with my white light filter.
No. No.
Okay. Has
What's
it
up,
been-
gang?
Hey, Jim. Great meeting last night.
That was fun, wasn't it?
That was a blast.
I think Ray had a good time.
I do too, and I'm debating whether to bail out in the middle of my 9 o'clock session tonight to join the McDonald Observatory.
Yeah, I would just encourage everybody there. Just put a link in chat or something and say, "Hey, let's go look at some real crap."
Yeah, that's a good idea because that's at 9:15, I think. So
Right.
I might just pop up.
I've already got it up on a browser here. So now you know what you can do. You can cheat. You know how you can cheat?
How?
You can be in the middle of your Francis Park session, right, or your viewing session, right, and just
Turn the
show your
camera
screen
on.
with the full frame viewing of the McDonald Observatory thing.
I could do that.
That would kind of be cheating, but
People would be fun to chat, and they'd end up chatting with us though instead of Stephen.
Mhm.
That was
well, to chat with Stephen, you got to be logged into Google anyway.
right. That was really enjoyable. I don't want to miss that myself.
Yeah, there were a lot of people in that group.
Catch the rerun.
Yeah.
Oh man, well I had 11 people RSVP'd for this tonight,
Nice.
so I certainly didn't want to let anybody down.
Well, that's more than what shows up at Danville.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
It is. So we've got the breakfast crew here.
Yeah, we do, don't we? No, I haven't
Got my
made that in a
coffee.
while. You guys doing that tomorrow morning?
No.
No, I keep trying to talk Cook and John into Zooming in the morning, but as you can tell from Cook and John's cameras right now, they don't really care to be on camera.
Well,
It's like my class. My class meets at 8 in the morning, and I asked them toward the end of the class, said, "So, how many of you guys are just like basically rolling out of bed and turning on the computer?" And one gal goes, "Oh, I'm still in bed."
really? Oh my
Yeah,
God.
well, yeah. Why would you bother? You're a college student. Who cares? So that's why all the students didn't have their cameras on. 'Cause nobody did anything with their face or hair or anything, beforehand. So
My hair's getting longer. I mean, it's not too noticeable yet, but I would have gotten it cut by now. So I just have to deal with it. There's nothing I can do. I'm not going to cut it myself. Nobody wants to see that.
oh, I want to see that. You can do that live on video.
I could do a Zoom session.
Yeah, there you go.
I've already cut my hair myself.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that why your camera's off?
Thanks, Bill. You beat me to that one.
Actually,
Sorry,
no.
John, I couldn't resist.
Camera's off because it's a cheap camera and it's not working at the moment. I'm trying to get it working.
Wow, what happened to it, John?
It didn't come on.
Oh, that's weird.
Well, plug it back in.
Did you plug it in?
Yes, guys, I plugged it in.
Smart.
It was working last night.
Well, actually, last night I had trouble at the start of the session getting it up and running.
Hmm.
And it finally did on its own, so, or whatever I did, it came on. At the moment, it's telling me it ain't going to cooperate.
Okay, you're gonna love this one, Bill. I rebuilt my main laptop, right?
Yeah.
Get everything working fine, get drivers changed, get the BIOS changed. The damn CMOS battery goes out.
Oh. Did you? Well, do you have? Is it just a CR2032?
Yeah, but I'm waiting for it to come in.
Okay, I was gonna say I could give you one, but I'd have to mail it to you.
Now it's one of those where, you know, I ordered it from Dell.
Oh,
That way I know it's OEM, not a cheap Chinese knockoff.
Oh, right. Well, I just get mine from the store. I just buy Energizers. We have a few more people. Hi, Jenny.
Hi,
How are you?
we're doing good. John's going to try and join on his laptop too. So you might see John
Okay,
and Jenny Dove.
that's good. Well, the more the merrier. I
oh,
wish
there you are, John.
you could get
Oh,
the
John, you flashed.
real. So in true astronomy form, I finally updated Stellarium's location to Danville instead of St. Louis. So this will be a little more realistic.
Yeah, like I said, don't upgrade to version 20.
Don't? Okay, version 0.20?
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Oh, okay. Well, I won't.
Okay. We're going to watch it on John's together. So you'll see me disconnect, but we're still both on.
Oh, okay.
So, and also true to astronomy form, it's not quite dark yet. So
Yeah.
this is the time out of Danville that we would just shoot the breeze and catch up a little bit, talk about what's going on in life, talk about our new astronomy purchases that we haven't had a chance to use, that I haven't bought anything new for 4 or 5 months. I did pick up, back in November, I picked up a cell phone camera holder that attaches to my eyepiece. And
Which one did you get?
I got the Next YZ
Okay.
from the guy that runs the astronomy store across the river.
Oh, yeah, okay. So you got the Celestron one?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
it's really well made. I mean, the design of it is so simple. Even I could.
Yeah,
pick
I'm tempted to pick one of those up too.
it was $50, but it was yeah. I thought it'd be kind of fun to play with the next time I'm out if that
Oh,
ever
yeah.
happens.
What phone do you have?
Galaxy Note.
Okay.
And I tried it. I set my scope up inside and pointed it at something as far away as I could and played with it. And it works really well. It attaches really easily. And it's so adjustable. You can get a perfect image on it.
Now the best one I've seen of those had set up where you could swing it out of the way, so you could look through the eyepiece, and then swing it back, and it would like click into place. Does that have that feature or not?
Where you can swing it out of the way, like if you just want to look through the eyepiece.
That's right.
You know what? I don't think so.
That's still my favorite feature, just because you can you can use that. You don't have to take it off take the eyepiece out or anything to be able to use the cell phone. So it just clicks out of the way.
That's a neat feature. I do like the way this one's designed too.
You don't want Papa chocolate pants?
Somebody's got kids at home.
Can you wiggle out of your tutu? Can you wiggle out of your tutu?
So I've got the software set up for a 60-degree view.
You lost your undies.
Oops, sorry.
Simulates a naked eye view of the sky. Not too many stars viewable yet, just the brighter ones. So this is about a naked eye. This is about what your eyes can take in if you just look up at the sky with no optical aid, about 60 degrees. So that's what I've got it set at. Your finder scope, pair of binoculars give you about a 6-degree field. So that's about here. Now I'm pointing at Venus. And your low power eyepiece depends on your telescope, but maybe 1 degree. If you have a wide angle eyepiece, if you have a shorter focal length telescope, you might get 2 or 3 degrees. Typically you get between 1 and 2 degrees in a low power eyepiece. In my scope, I don't even get that with my low power eyepiece. I get just under 1 degree. So I get a field about what you see on the whole screen here. That red circle you see is half a degree across.
Might want to go into apparent versus actual field of view.
Right, that's actual field of view, the actual field of view on the sky. So a typical TELRAD has 3 rings. The outer ring is 4 degrees of sky, true field of view. The middle ring is 2 degrees. The inner ring is half a degree. So in the software, if I fill the screen to about there, that's a little bit under 1 degree all the way across the screen. So I use that field of view a lot to simulate a low power field of view, about 65x through my telescope. But your mileage will vary depending on your instrumentation. So I will refer to field of view and power in like 65x terms as much as I can to make it relevant for everyone. So you can see Venus's phase at medium power, which for me is about 130 power, or a true field of view of just under 1/3 of a degree. And you can see at this power, Venus is drifting across the field, which would be the case in a non-track telescope such as a Dobsonian or a refractor without a drive. So every now and then at this power, I would have to nudge the view a little bit to keep Venus centered. So that's what I'd be pointing my scope at until it got dark enough to start looking at other things. So I'm going to return to naked eye view. It's about there. And you can see a few more stars are starting to show up. That's what I want. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. A few star names to help us out a little bit. We were actually outside. Obviously, you wouldn't see the star names on the real sky, but you would probably have a star chart with you that would have that information. So this view will give you both, give you a simulated night sky along with some helpful star names to help you orient yourself with the sky. Okay, is there anything you would want to look at while it's still twilight besides Venus? Okay, I would probably pick some brighter double stars just to keep myself busy until it gets dark. So Castor is a double star. In fact, I believe it's a triple star, if not even more than that.
The thing's closed.
So let's have a little look at Castor, or Alpha Geminorum, and let's look at it through the finder.
Everybody.
be about here. And through the software doesn't simulate the ability to split it with the finder, and that's probably accurate. So let's check it out through a low power eyepiece. There we go, just under 1 degree, and you're starting to be able to see a companion. Put in a higher power eyepiece, go with a medium power. And Castor in real life is actually hard to split beyond this companion. So, and my highest power eyepiece is going to give me a field of view of about 1/10 of a degree, which is about there. And then now you're able to start seeing yet another companion. But at this power, this would be about 220 in my telescope, 220x. And it's drifting really fast. So without a drive, you're constantly nudging it. And I can put a drive on it here and let the software just keep it locked in place. Okay, so let's return to naked eye view. You see, it's really still pretty bright. The sun is still just below the horizon, so we're not seeing a whole lot yet. So let's go for another double star. Any suggestions? Because I've got a few if you don't. Come on, don't be shy.
We're still a little too new to this.
That's okay. I'm going for the simple, the real bright, easy one. So I started with Castor.
You can always do Alcor and Mizar.
Alcor and Mizar in the Big Dipper. So we're going to head north. So I'm simulating operating a Dobsonian, so I can just whirl it around real quick without having to wait for a drive.
Yeah, the Dipper's getting nice and high now. It was over the winter, it was pretty low, so you might actually be able to see those now. Well, it's not quite dark enough yet, but it's close.
Mizar, if you notice here, you can actually see it as a double naked eye.
Yeah, that's your
You can
test.
actually see the companion there. So let's have a look at it through the finder scope. And true to form, Mizar and Alcor is Mizar's companion, look really nice through the finder because it's in a really nice field. There's a few other stars in the background, and it really stands out. I show this one a lot from the Science Center, and especially this time of year in April and May when it's real high up, we can get to it, and it pokes through the city light pollution really well. In fact, Mizar is the first double star I ever saw through a telescope. Still impresses. So let's look through the eyepiece. Low power eyepiece, just under 1 degree. Now, is it Mizar that splits again?
Yeah, Mizar is actually a quadruple system.
So I need a little bit more power here.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to split those second double because they're just too small. And Mizar A and Mizar B are actually too bright.
Wow. All right, let's try, just for fun, let's try a medium power eyepiece. That's about here. That's about 130x. And yeah, Cook, you're right. It still doesn't split. So
yeah, that's software anomaly because you don't need a lot of magnification bells.
Right.
Mizar A and B.
Yeah, you're right. I think I've been able to split them at the Science Center.
Oh yeah, easily. Right.
So not only do I see Mizar and Alcor, but I actually see another star here. I wonder how far I have to go. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's a software anomaly.
Yeah, because in the view that I have, you can see Alcor, Mizar, and the third star all in the same field with Mizar split.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm going to move the telescope over to Polaris for a minute. And I'm going to reiterate what Jim said about the Big Dipper. Springtime's about the best time to see the Big Dipper because that's about as high as it gets. And if you think of Polaris as the middle of a clock in the sky, if you're looking due north, the rest of the sky turns around Polaris in a counterclockwise direction. And if you think of the Big Dipper as your seasonal marker, it's up high in the spring. It's over here around 9 o'clock in the summer. 9 o'clock on this clock dial. And it's down here on the horizon in the fall, and then it's over here at the 3 o'clock position in the winter months. So the Big Dipper can kind of act as your seasonal marker around Polaris. And you can also use Cassiopeia as well, because it'll do the same thing. It's just on the opposite side. And no, Polaris is not the brightest star in the sky. It's the North Star. A lot of people think it's the brightest, but it's not. It's only special because of where it is rather than how bright it is. Okay, Jim, what should we look at, bud?
Can you get Betelgeuse?
Yeah, of course. Tell me which way to point.
Now you're just gonna make it difficult for me.
That's okay. Betelgeuse is in Orion.
Go over to your, I guess be my, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Orion is a winter constellation, so in April it's going to be setting, which means it's going to be in the west. And Betelgeuse is the upper leftmost star, of the bright ones. So let's put a finder in. Does it look reddish to you?
No.
Not really.
It's,
Maybe slightly.
well, that's a good way to put it. Most of the star colors that you hear us talking about they're subtle. So when somebody says that one's blue, that one's red, that one's gold, they're really pastel. They're very subtle colors. I'm putting my low power eyepiece in. Betelgeuse is not a double either.
With a camera or whatnot, is that where you'd bring out the color through the exposure, through your time?
For something as bright as Betelgeuse, not really. Color is more brought out for faint objects, nebulas, and that sort of thing that need the time exposure. Betelgeuse is bright enough to show you all the color it's going to show you pretty much naked eye or with a telescope or binoculars. You take pictures of it, a longer exposure would actually have the opposite effect. It would actually just bleed out and be really bright and overexposed.
Is Sirius one of the brightest ones right now?
Sirius is one of the brightest stars we see in the sky any time of year. It's at about a -1 magnitude. It's a white supergiant.
Yeah, and Sirius is -1 magnitude. It's one of the brightest stars, like Cook said, and it's not only that, I believe it's a double star.
Yeah, Sirius A and Sirius B. You basically have to be able to see Sirius B. You basically have to swing everything, or Sirius A, over to the edge of field, to where you're using basically your field stop to eclipse Sirius A, and you might be able to pick up Sirius B.
Well, can you? Yeah, I'll have to try that someday. I've looked at it through low, medium, high power, and I've never been able to see the companion, but I've never tried to block it out with the field of view. So you're saying to sort of like just put it like that, like right outside the field?
Yeah, create an artificial eclipse.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, so Sirius is also known as Alpha Canis Majoris. It's the brightest star in Canis Major. And Canis Major is a classic winter constellation. So in April here, you can see it's getting really low and it's setting. So this is one of the best times of year to see it because you don't have to be so cold. You know, I mean, yeah, it's up higher in February, but who wants to be out in February when they can be out in April? So this is a good time to look at it. Okay, there are two double stars that are pretty easy to find in Leo. Okay, Leo is a constellation that marks the oncoming of spring. So you want to look in the east for Leo. When you I got Marvin the Martian here coming from somewhere.
The video is not working.
What? Really?
Yeah, he plugged it in.
No, it was
I
plugged
see.
in. It was plugged in. The problem is the camera has its own software package, which I was running simultaneously, and apparently Zoom can't compete with another software package running the camera. So when I turned off the other package, the camera came online.
Oh, really? Well, it's good to see you.
I don't know.
Okay, so Leo, again, Leo hails spring. If you're new to amateur astronomy, you really want to learn one or two constellations that mark seasons. Orion for winter, Canis Major for winter. Spring, Leo is a good one to hook onto. So we're going to look in the east, because it's early spring. So Leo should be there. We go. And I'm going to turn off the constellations for a minute. And what you want to look for is this backward question mark right here. Let's turn off some of the star names. There we go. Okay, here's Leo. You want to look for this backward question mark right here. The point of the question mark is Regulus. So that's a hallmark of spring. When you see Regulus popping up and getting higher in the sky, the winter is finally on its way out and spring is arriving. And that's always a good thing when you want to get outside. So, and Regulus itself is a double star. So let's point our scope at it and put it in the finder. And you can just see a companion here with about a 6-degree field of view, which is what you would get with binoculars or a typical 8x50 finder scope. So let's put in a low power eyepiece, about 65x. And Regulus makes a really nice double. It doesn't get enough attention. I don't know why. I mean, it's bright, it's easy to find, and it's a double. I mean, even I forget about it. So I'm going to try to remember to use Regulus as a double to show as a showpiece from like the Science Center or whatever. Okay, another double that's in Leo is also in the question mark. And it's the one here in one of the bends of the question mark. It's called algebra. That one is also a double star. There we go, through the finder. Now, this is not the double, okay? Algebra and 40 Leonis, that's not the double. It's pretty, but algebra is actually a very tight double star that you need a little more power on. So I'm going to put in a medium power eyepiece. Yeah, it takes a little more to simulate that here. Yeah, It's a double, but it's really tight. The software doesn't simulate it very well. When you look at it through a medium or high power eyepiece, it looks like cat's eyes from a distance. That's the best way I can describe it. It has kind of a gold color, and it's like a pair of eyes way, way, way off in the distance staring back at you. So it looks a lot different from Mizar or Regulus, and the two components of algebra are identical in brightness, identical in color, so it really does look like a distant pair of cat's eyes looking back at you. Not the best simulation here, unfortunately. Okay, back to naked eye view. Suggestions?
Oh, you could check the phase of Venus.
Oh, wrong way. This is in the south. Okay, let's throw in a medium power eyepiece like I did before. There we go. That's just under a half a degree of field of view. So for my telescope, that would be about 130x, 130 power. And for me, that's like an optimal amount of power. It's enough to show detail, and it's not so much that things become fuzzy. I use 100 to 130 power a lot for deep sky objects. For planets, I would probably use more, closer to 200 on a good night. Okay, that's about all I had for double stars. I hope it's dark enough to start looking for some deep sky objects. Let's go back to naked eye view and see. If we were really at Danville at 8:30 in April, I'd probably give the Orion Nebula a quick look since it's bright enough and it hasn't set yet, so it's time to grab that before it's gone for the year. So to find the Orion Nebula, it's very simple, okay? In the spring, Orion's going to be setting and it's getting away from us. So you want to look west. You want to look for the belt stars, which are the 3 stars in a row. And the nebula is naked eye visible. It's right below the belt. Look for this kind of smudge. Point your telescope at it and take a look through your finder scope, and it will be obvious. If your location's dark enough. Now, even from the Science Center, I can see the nebula through my finder scope. It looks like a really, really faint smudge. I don't know if I can see it naked eye from the Science Center. I can't remember. But I can see it through my finder scope for sure, even though it's faint. So this view shows color. We wouldn't see color unless we had a larger telescope, 18-inch, 20-inch. But through an 8-inch or a 10-inch, no, you're going to see it in black and white, but that's okay. So the nebula itself is known as the Great Orion Nebula, or M42. And this area right above it, right around in here, is M43. So you're kind of catching 2 Messier deep sky objects for the price of 1. So let's put in a low power eyepiece right about there, a little bit under 1 degree of field of view. It's an okay simulation. It won't look this bright. I don't even think from Danville it looks this bright, but it is impressive. It's impressive from anywhere, actually, even in the city. I mean, to see a nebula from the city is pretty cool.
Well, you have to keep in mind, Bill, that if you throw a high contrast UHC filter in, you're going to pull out enough nebulosity just about to fill your field of view if you're running close to 80 or 82 apparent. And again, that's got to be dependent upon your scope on what your true field of view is. But I mean, take a look. We've done that before. We filled the whole field with nebulosity out of Orion. So.
Yeah, and Cook, what's the true field of your 100-degree eyepiece?
The true field is going to give me right around 1.5 degrees. In my 20 millimeter hyper wide, at my 6.75 focal length, it calculates out to true at 1.5. So I can pick up half the Pleiades, which is 3 degrees apart.
So basically, this field of view here, this outer ring is 2 degrees. So your eyepiece is darn near close to that.
Yeah.
So you can actually get all of this nebulosity, including this area up to the upper right, in the same field of view.
Yeah.
Now, see, those of us without a 100-degree hyper wide, we're seeing a field more like this, and we have to pan around with the telescope like I'm doing here to kind of explore the nebula. So this is an example of when an eyepiece like Cook's describing, hyper wide angle, very low power, is way superior to trying to overpower it with magnification. You want less is more in the case of something as big as the Orion Nebula. I think the nebula itself is listed as being 2 degrees across in the catalogs.
And you said use a filter to help, like, I guess, bring that out?
Yeah, what a UHC filter does, it basically darkens the background.
Okay.
You don't want to use an oxygen-3 because Orion is not active in the O3 wavelengths.
Okay. I have a handful of filters, but I haven't used them too much yet, so they're still pretty new to me.
Experiment with them.
Okay.
Which filter, Cook? Which one for the nebula?
Ultra high contrast, UHC.
UHC, that's one I don't have. So O3 wouldn't help, would it?
No, because it's not active in the O3 wavelengths.
Wow. Okay, I want an ultra high contrast filter.
Well, you can buy me a 2-inch one for my birthday.
Oh, that's right. You'd have to, you use your 1.25" Hyperions to use the UHC.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to return to naked eye view, and I'm going to end this session because Zoom is telling me I have less than a minute to go. So I'm going to resume a session at 9 o'clock, but I'm going to direct people to McDonald Observatory. And then I'm going to leave that session at 9:15 to join McDonald Observatory. And then after that, I'll be back for another one of these sessions at 10 o'clock, guys.
Yeah, it'll be dark by then.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you again at 9. And, well, unless you go to McDonald, and then I'll see you at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Take care, Bill.